What did you do in your past relationship that you will never do again? I was in a relationship with a girl who had a lot of issues. She had a rough childhood and was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. She was also a recovering addict. I knew all of this going in, but I thought I could handle it. I was wrong. She was constantly in and out of rehab, and I was always there to support her. I would drive her to her appointments, make sure she was taking her medication, and try to keep her on track. But it was never enough. She would always relapse, and I would be the one to pick up the pieces. I remember one time she called me in the middle of the night, crying and saying she had relapsed. I drove over to her place and she was a mess. She had been drinking and doing drugs, and she was in a really bad state. I stayed with her all night, trying to calm her down and get her to sober up. The next morning, she apologized and promised she would get help. But a few weeks later, she relapsed again. This cycle went on for months. I was constantly stressed and exhausted. I was neglecting my own needs and putting her first. I was also enabling her behavior by always being there to pick up the pieces. Eventually, I realized I couldn't do it anymore. I broke up with her and told her she needed to get help on her own. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done, but it was the right decision.